Testing, testing, 1, 2. Hope this mic is working properly alongside this screen recording that I've got going on. Seems to be all good. Better remember to edit this out. This is the news. I want it to be fucking professional. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Captain Shandy here. I hope you're all well. Now, I've often wondered how journalists do their research. I mean, the profession has become a fucking joke, people, and this is coming from someone who's about to start reading you the news. It is at best fake and at worst dishonest. Actually, it's probably both. Even if what is being reported is true, the fake delivery is painful and it's usually biased, which of course definitely won't happen here. This is the only news source that you can trust, and not anyone can say that. Nevertheless, I too am fallible, so instead I've decided to bring you something authentic, probably. We're going to go through the research together. So take a moment to subscribe, get notified, so that you're up to speed with all the day's shite journalism, and don't forget to leave your thoughts down below, and we'll be sure to delete the comments that we don't like. Just kidding. At me. So as you can see, we're going through the news together. I'm recording a voiceover live whilst looking through social media on screen, and if you think that you're glad that you'll be seeing less of my face, imagine my relief. I have to edit these fucking videos. So, let's make a start, shall we? So, we're going to go to Twitter first of all. Let's see what's been happening there. So, Ohio State suspends more than 200 students for COVID-19 violations. Rebellious students not doing as they're told. Who'd have thought? Bloomberg, you cannot cancel a culture that loves its heroes. Watch Florida Rep Matt Gaetz address the NRC. I don't think we'll watch that now. New Zealand mosque shooting survivor tells gunman, "You are the loser. You are the loser and we are the winners," Christchurch mosque attacker Brenton Tarrant was told by survivors on Tuesday. He's the one who's going to jail, and rightfully fucking so. I don't care about what your political or religious beliefs are. You can't just go shooting up fucking people, no matter where they are, whether they're in schools, whether they're in mosques, whether they're in churches. Like, sort your fucking shit out. Why the ceasefire in Libya is unlikely to last. So the problem with the ceasefire is that sometimes ignores powers of influence. Yep, okay. Trapped between safety and survival, businesses in South Carolina and Georgia endure a summer nightmare. Now comes the financial reckoning. Pretty much the same as it is for everybody. Gareth Southgate will name his England squad shortly, according to TalkSport half an hour ago. Liverpool have completed the signing of 16-year-old German youth international Malkamu Frundorf from Hoffenheim. Attacking midfielder has penned a scholarship agreement at Anfield, where the last player we signed from Hoffenheim, who played at attacking midfield, was Bobby Firmino. So, happy days. Herschel Walker, racism isn't Donald Trump. Well, yeah, I mean, that shouldn't really need pointing out. I'm not Trump's biggest fan, but fucking racism existed for a long time before Donald Trump existed. And as far as I remember, Donald Trump wasn't a racist until he was a Republican. So, funny that. MSNBC, Washington Examiner Jay Chris on the Republican Party. You have to adopt whatever viewpoints Trump has, and if you don't, then you're the kind of traitor, or you're kind of outside the coalition who quote-unquote wants to win. I mean, if that's coming from a Democrat, then I can't possibly even begin to describe the irony and the hypocrisy that goes on there, because the left wing, especially the radical left wing rhetoric, is if you disagree with any part of this ideology, even though parts of it don't even make sense, then you're a monster. You know, I'm not quite so sure that Trump's that as extreme as that, despite the picture that, you know, the left would like to paint of Donald Trump. What else have we got going on? We're scared as black people in America. LeBron James calls for justice following the police shooting of Jacob Blake in Wisconsin and encourages people to vote for change in November's election. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, I've heard about the shooting, and that was just, what is it with shitty behaviour from certain American police officers? Obviously, you know, they're not all bad. A lot of them are good people, and maybe all this shit that's kicking off is pushing people to the edge and causing them to do things that they wouldn't usually do. Not excusing anyone for anything. That was bad from what I saw of it. He was just shot in the back multiple times for literally no other reason than trying to keep the peace, as far as we could tell. Um, Even more of an outrage, really, than the George Floyd situation. Obviously, I think, as far as I'm aware, Jacob Blake is stable in ICU. I think. Hopefully, maybe we'll see more on that as we go through the news. But it is outrageous that that occurred. But one thing that I will say, LeBron, is voting for change. I don't think a vote is going to change that. We've had Democratic leaders, racism still existed. We had Republican leaders, racism still existed. You know, don't think that who you put in charge is going to change the way people behave. It's not. So, although I agree and I sympathise with the situation, it's clear that it is just about trying to get votes. It's the Democratic Party again, just trying to get votes. They're both as bad as each other, the left and the fucking right over there in America, and it's not great fucking here. But we'll move on. St. Louis couple who pointed guns at protesters give dark warning in convention address. Hmm. What else have we got going on? The Sisters of Sherlock will be on Netflix on September 23rd. Not of interest to me, but if it's you, you're welcome. Conservative MP accused of rape should be named in Parliament, says alleged victim. This is a tricky one, isn't it? Because the victim obviously isn't going to get named. Now, anyone can accuse anyone of anything. I could accuse someone of rape right now. Does that mean that they should have their name plastered all over the papers? If I accused right now Scarlett Johansson of raping me, I know it's a different different situation. I'm sure most Conservative MPs aren't quite as attractive as her. Does that mean that she should just, it should just be all over the news, just because there's a alleged, accused, nothing's proven. Mud sticks. So, although if this can be proved, of course, name him. Name the fucking cunt. But I don't know. I don't know about that. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. It's a tricky one. It is a tricky one. Now, what we've got here, Harry Maguire protected his sister from Albanian gangsters on holiday whilst Victor Lindelof stopped a thief from robbing an old woman. When he got in social, I've definitely been telling them both to work on their defending during a break. Very good. I couldn't have a dog working from home. I'd get nothing done. Fair enough. I think it's time we stopped cringing embarrassment about our history and our traditions and about our culture. Boris Johnson reacts to the BBC's decision to play orchestral version of Rule Britannia and Land of Hope and Glory at the proms. I mean, if you listen to the lyrics of those songs, particularly with Rule Britannia, Britannia rules the wave. Britain never, never, never shall be slaves. What the hell is wrong with that? We're basically telling British people we won't let you be enslaved. You will be protected whilst you're on the British Isles. It doesn't matter what colour you are, what your heritage is, what your culture is, etc. If you're British, we'll look after you. Of course, we'll fucking look after you. So I don't quite understand what the backlash is there. Let's have a quick look at the comments whilst we're here on the BBC, shall we? What are people saying? The BBC has damaged its image with this fiasco. A little bit. It's supposed to be the British Broadcasting Corporation. They won't even play songs that are inherently British. The definition of the word cringing embarrassment. I mean, yeah. I can see that with Boris. I've certainly cringed at some of this shit that he's pulled in the past. Lovingly rubbed with rhubarb. But that's not really the point here, is it? I mean, he's been asked to comment on this particular subject. So, do you agree with it, Benjamin Smith, or not? You don't really answer our question. Yep, you're a close second, to be fair. Fair enough, yep. Yeah, he's responded far quicker than he did to the A-level debacle. Yeah, he has. Maybe not quite such a complex issue, though, is it? This is a sort of like, these are the lyrics, these are what they mean, fucking get on with it. No matter what you do in life, you're gonna upset people, so don't fucking worry about it. But with the exam results, that's obviously a more complex issue. And we'll see how all that unfolds over the coming weeks, months and years, I suppose. 60,000 dead. Shame wasn't one of them. Yeah, see, this is what I love about the Liberals. They love everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. You can be who you like. Everybody's life is important. Unless you have a different political view than them, then you should be dead. And most British people are racist and have shown more than once that they will never change. Well, what do you mean we've shown we'll never change? This is like the most diverse country in the world. We have loads of mixed race children from couples who come from completely different backgrounds who love each other and communities that all accept each other and get on. Like, if it was racist, then surely there'd be anarchy constantly. But there isn't, is there? But yeah, we've got to paint this picture. Now, I ain't saying that racism doesn't exist in the UK. I mean, it does. Of course it does. But by saying that all British people are racist, that's a racist slur in itself. I wouldn't say all black people are racist just because there's a few racist black people, which there are, and there's a few racist Muslim people, which there are. It doesn't make their entire fucking race racist. And by saying as much, you're you're taking part in the act. So, time to stop denying it. Okay. Okay. Right. So, let's leave that there before we get unprofessional. Let's head over actually to the Daily Mail. Let's see what's happening there. So I've obviously had a little scroll through here already, but we'll go back. Boris Johnson is planning to quit as PM in 6 months because he's struggling to recover from coronavirus, claims Dominic Cummings' father-in-law, Humphrey Wakefield. Look at all these posh cunts. Look at him, man, with his horse. Jesus, just wankers. Don't really care about Elton John. Harry Maguire told Greek police, "Don't you know who I am?" Well, of course he did. He's a footballer. That's exactly the kind of thing a footballer would say. "I'm the captain of Manchester United." Oh, yeah, that was probably, a bigger brag 15 years ago than it is now. Before trying to bribe officers after a brawl in the bar, well, you've got millions of pounds in your account. Sparked when two Albanians injected his sister, Daisy, with a date rape drug. Well, I mean, we obviously don't know the full story here. That's Harry's sister is down in the bottom right there, obviously, and an attractive girl. And sometimes these young girls on holiday abroad are taken advantage of. Um, so it could be true, could not. We'll have to obviously wait for more details. What I will say, if it is true, what Harry Maguire said there, or what's been accused of these two Albanian chaps or whatever, then I'm sure we're all 100% with Harry Maguire on that because it's his fucking sister, and he's like these Albanian pricks. If it's true, are lucky they're still alive, as far as I'm concerned. So what else we got here? Depressed mother 40 who was sole carer of celebrity snapper's autistic son 10 gave boy sleeping drug, put a sponge in his mouth, and tied it in place with the bra. Then turned herself in to police. Inquest hears. I mean, the fuck is wrong with you? What is that? What makes you want to do that to a fucking kid? Well, I know that can be a bit annoying, but that's just too far. Facebook is accused of trying to influence government policies by poaching Whitehall officials who have worked in online regulation with big money jobs. Well, of course, social media has its own political agendas. That's why we see censorship, which doesn't correlate with other censorship, and it isn't consistent. And we're used to it now. It's hardly news. It's not news. Daily Mail. Give us some actual news. Britain gagged. Lawrence Fox leads calls to strip BBC of licence fee funding after corporation decides to play historic last night at the proms anthems but not sing the racist words that offend the woke. I don't really get what words are offensive from the lyrics that I know. I'm not going to pretend I know every single one, but as I say, anything can offend anybody these days. If something's said and it doesn't offend anybody, then it wasn't worth fucking saying. It wasn't important, you know. Let yourselves get dumbed down. Censorship. Anything offensive can't be viewed. Why isn't the responsibility on the person perceiving what's going on to deal with that in an emotionally mature way and not be offended by everything? And if they are offended, you know, who cares? It doesn't matter. Get over it. Unless it's actually hurting you, get over it. Shit offends me all the time, but I don't want it cancelled. I read such stupid things that people say, but I wouldn't dream of censoring them. I hate TV shows like fucking X Factor and shit like that, and fucking The Only Way is Essex and Love Island, dumbing down the population. Like, it's bullshit. But no one asked for them to be fucking axed. Unless someone obviously commits suicide, which I fucking would want to if I was forced to watch them on a regular basis. Switzerland will be added to the UK's quarantine travel list this weekend as Tory MP blasts border chaos and urges ministers to follow 30 countries which have already have airport testing to slash 14-day isolation rules. Well, I don't know about you guys, I'm not going abroad, so fuck it. Don't worry about it. Is Boris poised for another school's U-turn thanks to Sturgeon? PM says, of course he will change advice on mouth coverings if we need to, as Wales orders review after Scotland made them compulsory. Okay. Okay. Stepfather's cancer turns terminal after NHS doctors cancelled his life-saving bowel surgery to prepare for hospital for coronavirus crisis. Yep, that's no surprise, and we all saw this coming. Even, unfortunately, a friend of mine is in the exact same situation. She was diagnosed with cancer back in January, and she's still waiting to see a specialist to find out how advanced it is. And what are we? What are we? It's fucking August, end of August. You know, it's almost September. That's 9 months. But let's nick across to the Guardian and see what they're saying over here. Nothing particularly interesting on the first page. Coronavirus, 2 Europeans reinfected as Hong Kong says man caught COVID twice. Yeah, that came out yesterday. So it looks like we can be reinfected. Good news, eh? Wonderful. They think they've been left to die. Pandemic shakes already fragile Venezuela. Yep. Well, if you're in already poor, struggling countries, then shit like this can really push you over the edge. Revisited Britain's reckoning with its racist past. UK Black Lives Matter protests have taken place across the country. They have not just been about solidarity with the US or racism in Britain today. No, they've been about dismantling the patriarchy and dismantling capitalism and anarchy, basically, for the most part. I mean, we've said this before, if you listen to anything that I've said, I'm fully behind the sentiment of Black Lives Matter. Of course they fucking do. I think, you know, people as individuals matter. We've all got some sort of intrinsic value. And, you know, this isn't, they're using that as a tag that you can't possibly disagree with. You can't say no, Black Lives don't matter, because not many people really feel like that, apart from the actual white supremacists and KKK, and they are in the minority. But you know, so you have to agree with a statement, but then you look at what the rest of it's about, and you think, nah, no, I'm not up for communism. I don't believe in a patriarchy, you know. So it's difficult. It's difficult for people. Why? For years I was sidelined, devalued, and desperately unhappy in an industry still blind to the realities of racism. See, this is why I get a bit annoyed reading The Guardian, because they're just constantly calling you racist. David Squires on Bayern beating PSG to be crowned champions. Yep, I was on Bayern's side for that one. Don't want the Arab oil arcs winning it. And thankfully they didn't. Lost generation. Racism in British TV has forced out black talent. Lack of BAME people in executive and behind camera roles worn down by the industry, says historian. Okay. If you say so. Well, bit of a slow news day, people. Not the most exciting first day, but I'm sure the world will have plenty to offer over the coming days, weeks, and months. So we will keep up with this. Let me know what you think down in the comments about what we've spoken about here today. Do you agree with the BBC censoring the lyrics to Rule Britannia? Do you think Britain has a racist past and is still a racist place to live? And who did you want to win the Champions League final? You know, who did you want to win that? Let's lighten the mood a little bit. So let me know in the comments what you thought, and we will be back tomorrow or the next day, depending on how professional I decide to be. Catch you in a bit, people.